Hey, everybody. Welcome back. I am Carrie Wilkerson. If you weren't here last month, then I am new to you and I am a business coach and consultant, been in the business a long time, good friends with Justin and Shauna. And today we're going to talk a little bit about your goals and we're going to talk a little bit about why you probably keep missing them. And now, not to be negative, because that's not my personality at all. Those of you that know me or know of me know I am perpetually positive and forward focused, but it's a little bit because I hit most of my goals because I set them differently. And so no matter what your business model is or what you're doing for cash generation or income or side hustle building or whatever, I want to talk to you a little bit about that today. So I want you to share with me in the chat, first of all, this is not a lecture series. This is an interactive series. You can take the girl out of the classroom, but you can't take the classroom out of the girl. So I'm going to ask you to put stuff in chat and sometimes even unmute yourself and say things. But for now, put into the chat if you have ever set a big goal that you missed. Type in yes in the chat. A big goal that you missed. Just Drew? Is Drew the only one? Yes. Okay. All right. So more than just me. I've missed big goals. Okay. Have you ever? So then you read something that says, oh, but make sure your goal is smart, achievable, measurable, all those things. And then you can't miss it, right? If you do the SMART goals, you can't miss it. And that's not any jab at any one guru. That's like, okay, so we have to set our goals that way and we need to make them smaller. Has anybody set a small goal that you have missed? A small goal that you thought was a no-brainer that you also missed. Has anybody ever missed a small goal? Yeah. Okay. So it's not just the big goals we're missing the small goals too. I would say that it's because we have the definition of goal wrong. Now, this is coming from a girl who's been reading Zig Ziglar since I was in 7th grade. True story, who's friends with the Ziglar family, friends with so many people in the personal development space. And I'm going to say, I think maybe we're doing it wrong. And I want us to talk about what the problems are with what we're doing and how to do it a different way. Because here's what happens. What happens is when you keep missing those goals, big or small, it erodes at your what? What does it do to you? What does it do when you keep missing those goals, big or small? Type in the chat. How does it feel? Kills your confidence. Yep. Prevents you from setting future goals. What does it do to your self-esteem? Because esteem and confidence are two different things. Yeah, you change your expectation, you lower your standards, you get a little numb. Yeah. And then you're almost afraid to reach for the next thing, right? So then we set smaller goals or more achievable goals or more realistic goals, and then we miss those too. And so, yeah, Drew says, makes it seem like it's hopeless, or like you start filling out job applications. Anybody else, like one day you're like, I'm going to rule the world. I'm going to set such big goals. Also later that same day, filling out job applications online for other people. Anybody else? Anybody else do that? Fill out job applications or decide to go be a paint stirrer at Home Depot because it just seems so hard. Eddie says cognitive dissonance, the state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, especially as relating to behavioral decisions and attitude change. Boom. Yes, Eddie, that is 100% correct. One of my favorite Zig Ziglar quotes says that you will never achieve or exceed beyond what you really believe about yourself. So you have to believe about yourself differently, which means you have to have cognitive congruence instead of dissonance. But let's talk about some goals. So what are the problems with the way that we're setting goals? Because we say, oh, that they're achievable. We're doing all the things everybody tells us to do. They're achievable, they're specific, they're amazing, like my handwriting. They're achievable, they're specific, and they are measurable, right? So why are we not achieving them? I think it's because of several reasons. Let's dig into this a little bit. I think it's because we are talking about dreams instead of goals. What do I mean by that? I mean that a dream is something that you really don't have control of. A goal is something you can control. Okay, write that down. A goal is something you can control. But when you set your goal for something that's out of your control, you are setting yourself up for failure. Let's use some examples. Has anybody in the room ever tried to gain or lose weight? Either or. Gain or lose weight, type yes in the chat. If you've ever tried to gain or lose weight, yes or no? Okay. I can set a goal to lose 10 pounds in November. I could set a goal to lose 10 pounds in November. This is how we normally set our goals, correct? I'm going to lose 10 pounds in November. However, yes or no in the chat, do I really have control of that number 10? Think carefully. Do I really have control over that number 10? Yes or no? Yes or no? Can I set a goal I can set a goal to make 10 grand in contracts this week, but do I really have control? Be brave enough to type it in the chat. Yes or no? Yes or no? What do you think? Do I have control over that 10 pounds? I would say nope. Nope. Graham is correct. Drew says not unless you're using counterweights on the scale. Let me put it to you this way. I can control the food I put in my mouth or don't put in my mouth. I can control the water I drink or any other substance I drink. I can control how I move my body and how many times I move my body and things I'm lifting, but I cannot control what the scale does. Same with your income. So Graham might say, hey, I'm going to sign 10K in contracts this week. Well, Graham cannot control that. He can control how many people he gets in front of, how many proposals he sends out, how many offers he makes, how many asks he makes, how many posts he does, but he cannot really control 10K in contracts. Am I right? Type aha in the chat. Type aha in the chat. We're setting our goals wrong. So you have to set your goals for things you can control, which means it's fine to have dreams. It's okay to think about dreams. It's okay to say, hey, ideally, I'm going to do 10K a week with XYZ offer. That's great. But then the goal that you set needs to be reverse engineered. All right. So let's look at it this way. If I want to lose 10 pounds in a month, then I have to look at some past data or some past behaviors or the successes of others and see what patterns, habits, routines, and daily activity will lead to this. I can't control that, but I can control the patterns, the habits, the routines, and daily activity that lead to that. So let's brainstorm together. Let's brainstorm. Whether you are trying to lose or gain, or whether you are trying to sign more contracts, what are some weekly goals you could set or monthly goals you could set to help lead you to the 10 pounds? Type them in the chat. What things could you do that would lead you to the ideal target of the 10 pounds lost for the month? Daily routines. Drew says avoid eating. Well, that's a little extreme, Drew. So Graham says you could walk more. So let's set that as a goal, Graham. So like 3 times a week, 10,000 steps a day. You have to break down the habits into the goals. So the goals are maybe 5 times a week, you're going to do 10,000 steps. That, I started over too far. That, my friends, is a goal that gives you control. What else could you do? You could say Drew says you could do intermittent fasting. You could set an intermittent fasting for so many days. You could, Raymond says you could watch your calories. Yes. So I follow low carb, low calorie. That's my personal choice, is low carb, low calorie. So for me personally, I keep my calories under 1200. I know that's low. I'm a little person. My calories under 1200, and typically my carbs are less than 30 on an ideal day. So my goals are measuring those things. These goals are controllable and increase your likelihood of your dream outcome. Hey, if you abbreviate dream outcome, what does that spell? Your daily goals are broken down into the activities that will lead to your dream outcome, but you have to do them. All right. So yeah, Tammy also says you can rewire your brain and mindset with daily Noom lessons. Yeah. So what are the daily things that lead to that? All right. So let's go to Graham's fictional goal that I set for him, the dream of the $10,000 week in and week out. Okay. So this is his desired outcome right here. Now, let's help him come up with 3 to 4 weekly, because it's a weekly goal for him. What are some weekly goals he can set that lead him to that desired outcome? Hey, Graham, why don't you unmute yourself? Let's brainstorm this for a minute.
Hey.
Is that okay? You willing to play along?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm sure Justin doesn't want me to make too much money outside of AdSkills. But anyway, let's go.
Well, I'm not worried about that. You let me deal with him. He has an abundant mindset. He'll be fine. All right. So tell me, what would be some daily activities that would lead you to the desired outcome? Yeah. And there's some in the chat. Raymond has also said, like, talk to X amount of prospects. So how many daily?
Send emails, the volume of emails, outreach emails.
Okay. Like cold outreach?
Yeah. Cold outreach.
Okay.
or to a list.
How many? How many daily? One daily to your list. Yeah. One daily to your list, and then one daily email. And I know this seems simple, but how many of you are guilty of skipping a day of email? Anybody guilty of skipping a day of email? I am. I forget to email all the time. Okay. One daily email to list with an offer. Has to have an offer, right? Because some of you have not because you ask not, sell not because you offer not, and you're not working your ask off. So a daily email with an ask, a daily ask. Okay. How many cold outreach emails a week do you reckon you need to do? I'm going to go skinnier with that.
They say 30.
30?
In a week?
So 30 weekly cold outreach.
Yeah.
Okay. What else could you do on a daily basis that's achievable, measurable, and would lead to your desired outcome?
I'd ask my friends for referrals.
Mm-hmm. How many asks a week? 4 or 5? 1 to 3?
4 to 5.
Okay. In order to sell or sign, do you need to be doing some presentations, some calls, some consults, some webinars, how do you get to a sale? What's your conversion mechanism?
Calls, discovery calls.
So how many discovery calls in a week does it take to get to this number? Typically? Ah, see what we did, guys? 10,000
real.
in contracts. If you have a $5,000 offer, and again, I don't know anything about Graham's business. That's 2 contracts. If he closes 2 out of every 5 calls, that means 5 calls equal $10,000. So how many emails do you need to send, weekly reach outs and referrals do you need in order to get 5 qualified calls that show up? I would say you probably need to book 8 to 10 to make sure you have the right qualified amount. So then your daily activity becomes focusing on how to get 8 to 10 discovery calls on the calendar. Right?
Boom.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Raymond says you have to know your conversion rate roughly. Yeah. Personal branding tasks such as posting on social media. So he could say, okay, a daily email to list. That's achievable and measurable every single day. 3 weekly cold outreach. So you could break that down for day, or you could do them all at the beginning of the week so that you can follow up the rest of the week. You could ask for referrals. You could do 1 social post a day, or one social post, or like a Facebook Live. But here's the thing. All of this activity needs to not just be for busyness or for the sake of branding, but it needs to be for business leading to the activity that leads to the desired outcome. If your emails and your social posts and your activity is not getting calls on your calendar or contracts in front of people, then you're just running on a treadmill. Make sense, Graham? Okay, so let's go down here. Everybody on your notepad, write a desired outcome. What we formerly called goals is the desired outcome. The dream outcome, the desired outcome. What is your desired outcome? Is it a weekly revenue number? Is it a weekly list building number? What is it? Okay, type it in the chat or write it down. If you want to be vulnerable like that, that's fine. Or just write it down on your paper. Okay, now let's say that mine is to grow my Instagram. It's not, but let me say it's to grow my Instagram by 10,000 this month in November. Let's say there's a reason that I want to do that. And let's say that's my goal for the month. Well, there's a couple of things I could do. I could buy those followers, which would be silly, and they wouldn't be targeted and they wouldn't convert. Or I could say, oh, maybe somebody will share or I'll go viral. Let me focus on creating a viral post. Or, I have no control over those things. I have no control over if Instagram makes me a suggested account. I have no control over those things. So instead, I have to do. And what do I have to do? I have to be posting daily, focusing only on niche. Actually, posting probably 2 to 3 times daily. I have to do reels daily, and I have to be engaging on influencer content. I can hit these goals. And I could also say I could actively follow 50 accounts a day in my hashtag or niche. So these are the daily activity goals or the weekly activity goals that lend to the desired outcome. I have control over these. Only I have control over these, my team and I. But this is kind of a hoped outcome based on reverse engineering the patterns and data of what I see others do, what I've done myself, or what's common in the industry. Drew says, I don't even have a clue how IG grows followers yet. This is just a hypothetical example, Drew. I really don't know. Okay, 14K months. Drew said his is a 14K month. 14K month. How do you reverse engineer that, Drew? Take your average deal. How many of your average deals do you need to do? You want to open your mic and talk through it?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Oh. Okay. So Drew says 14K months. How do we get there? What's your average deal?
I want to confess something. I'm a jack of several trades. And so like I'll have a video shoot like I just had that did all right. It paid pretty well over the last 4 days. That and then what I'm selling at the consulting package, which is kind of like teaching service providers, coaches, consultants, how to sell their wisdom, kind of packaging that and helping them package their own secret recipe, becoming proprietary.
Okay.
That's a $3,000 offer. I haven't put that out there to sell that first. It's kind of like the last one I sold was $1,500, and so. Okay.
So you have your video package. How much is that?
This was like a $1,200 a day rate.
Okay. So you have the 1,200 and you have the 3K. And so then what you have to decide based on your calendar, what you're willing to do and what you have in the pipeline is how many of each of these you have to do or want to do in order to hit this number.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking at those and I was even before I came on the mic, I thought, well, 3K is 3,500. If I just got, I don't know, probably what's standing in the way of that is just having a few more testimonials, that social proof to say, Drew's system got me landing $25,000 contracts, which I have, which I've gotten like 3 clients, fortunately, that all landed 25K contracts.
Nice.
Yeah.
So use that.
Okay. Yes.
How much is it worth to them to get a 25K contract?
It's funny because they have to be in the right circles, It's like, this isn't all there was to it, It's
don't talk yourself out of it. I'm not saying you advertise and say, hey, every video is going to turn into a 25K contract. I'm not going to go silly like that, but I'm saying don't hold yourself back. Yeah. Put that out there. So you could do 5 of these. You could stop this daily charge business and instead make it a package for 2 days is 3K.
Yeah.
And it includes X amount of videos and X amount of editing, in which case, you could do 5 of those, but that takes up 10 days of your month, which is fine if that's all you're doing. But
that first one, that could be a package. I got a great client that has grown with me that, I had for a while, and they shot their course. In fact, it was like a 2-day shoot. And I said, guys, we're here at this Airbnb. We're all staying here. I'm flexible. If we need another day, just let's get it done. And so, yeah, I mean that.
And you only charge them $1,200 for that
per day.
Right. Okay. So the videographers that I know that are shooting courses right now are shooting, it's 5 to 10K for the course shoot, whether it takes 1 day or 2. And most of them keep it to 1 day so that they're only blocking off their studio for 1 day.
Oh, wow.
Just so you know. And that includes like your designer helping them with worksheets, then you editing the videos, creating a couple of social media type shares. And then you don't put it in a portal or anything for them. You just give them a zip file with all their edited videos in it. So $1,200 a day is too cheap.
Well, hold on. We're talking editing. That's a whole different story. I mean,
you don't do editing. You don't do editing for their courses.
Not for this package. What we're looking at right here. This is
gotcha.
Yeah. In fact, they're such great clients that they said, 2 days, we're going to go ahead and pay you for 3 because we know you got some travel. I had to drive 5 hours, so but that's just editing.
For video services, I want you looking at this price instead of your 1,200. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, studio experience is 5 to 10K. I just don't want you doing a daily rate. I mean, that's what people in the union do that work on television sets, and they can strike and be replaced by another grunt. And that's not you. You offer a boutique and a service and a course creator perspective and a different strategy than a normal somebody pointing a camera. So you need to charge up for your expertise, in which case you only need 2 or 3 of these to hit the kind of month that you want.
Nice. Okay.
If you were to bundle your expertise plus a video package, you could create a $10,000 package where you coach and consult them from pulling it out of their brain to getting it on video, and it's done for you turnkey, and they're ready to start selling it after.
That's what I want to do for like 30K. Like that right there, that expertise thing, that secret recipe, that's the Hudge factor. That's my personal thing. And I figured out I can't help anyone launch a website or do a funnel or write emails or do ads if I can't find out what's special about them. So I was doing this for free for years before I discovered, like, I had to figure that out anyway. So it's putting that in there, but that'd be great to do a course package. Figure out.
Yeah, you could do that. Now, 30K would be more like an annual investment for them. It's hard to hit the startup market with 30K. So this would be people that are already established.
Right.
So your marketing will have to be really dialed in, but that's 2 months of revenue right there. You work with 6 of those people a year and you're solid.
Okay. Nice.
Graham's like, that sounds too easy. Okay. So you need to work on your offers, up level your pricing, and then reverse engineer. Who do I need to talk to? What circles do I need to be in? Where do I need to be advertising this? And how do I close them?
Yeah, I'm open to anyone here too in the community. The client that I was just working with, it was a negotiation course, and they said, maybe Drew, maybe you should target more executive coaches that are in the same boat we are. We want to do a course. We want it to look great. We don't care about the iPhone. Hey, do a course in a weekend. We don't care about that. We need it. We need the course to look like the level.
Yeah. And you want people that are already making money. So even if they're attorneys or mortgage brokers or, somebody that needs some really classy intellectual property, but it's already making money, you want to stay away from the startup crowd at that price point.